Hey everyone, how's it going? This week I'm talking with Aimee about fitness and life and being busy parents and how we get our fitness in. As always, I'm going to share some fun stories and some interesting stuff about training. In this week's episode, we're going to talk about being a busy parent, 11 plus exams, high rocks, CrossFit, and other fun things. You know, your story of, we've got something massive in common, which is that I've now rechanged my career back to working full-time in fitness in a gym. And you started your fitness journey.
Started my career.
With the illustrious Virgin Active.
I did indeed, yes. In South Africa, actually.
Yeah.
While I was studying, I was doing sports psychology and was working at Virgin Active, teaching legs, bums and tums and starting out, really, my career, yeah.
And whereabouts was that in South Africa?
In Pretoria.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah,
I haven't been there yet.
No, well, unless you live there, I'm not sure you'd want to go.
No, I hear it's good things about it, no? Or not? Or maybe
Pretoria.
I'm thinking of PE.
PE, yes.
Yeah, not
now
the
that's
same place.
beautiful. Definitely
Right.
not the same place.
Because Pretoria's where then? outside of Joburg?
Pretoria's outside of Joburg,
Right,
about 40 minutes outside of Joburg.
Okay,
yeah,
fine.
it is the capital of something, but I can't remember what.
It's the diplomatic capital?
Maybe a politics.
Politics,
actually. Yeah.
Is there any politics left? Okay, let's not. That's a different podcast.
We won't be delving
We
into
won't do that one
just
today.
in case some of my South African friends are watching.
Yeah. Sure. Well, no, my father-in-law will be like, I'll get everything wrong. Because my wife is South African.
Oh yes, of course.
Yes, and I have trained in some of the VAs in Virgin Actives in South Africa.
Yes.
It's huge there.
Yeah, massive.
And they've actually now, not that you would know, they've actually now just re-bought back. Restructuring the company. VA is now really almost South African again.
Oh,
which is really amazing.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Huge. Lots of people in South Africa actually came out here and then started up some businesses out. So I think it was when I started my career at Virgin and finished my degree, and as soon as I'd finished my degree, my parents bought me my one-way ticket. I was 21, and they bought me my one-way ticket here to the UK, and my first job was with Fitness First.
Oh, wow.
And that was just loads of South Africans as well. I was interviewed by 2 South Africans. One was like the head of marketing, and anyway, we're everywhere.
So tell me though, what were you a PT then on the gym floor?
I did, yes. I did a conversion into PT. So did my degree, then converted to a PT for that year while I was working at Fitness First. So I actually sold memberships, and it was one of their first. What did they call it? I think it was like a platinum membership. So it was one of their first platinum memberships, and I was the first salesperson of this platinum membership. It was really quite cool. I absolutely loved it. It was really fun. But I also then did, while I was selling, alongside that, I'd fill in for maybe if the instructors were ill. So I would do like their legs, bums and tums, or their spinning, because I then did a spin. And then eventually I was given a permanent spin slot. So every day at 6 o'clock after I'd sign off, I've made all my sales for the day, and then at 6 o'clock I'd do a spin class. And I used to have regulars, and then people were asking me to go to other Fitness Firsts, and
you're making your playlist and picking your songs.
Yes, exactly. And it was all this up, down, lights going.
Oh, you'd love to do it again, wouldn't you?
Actually, I think spin is quite fun, even still now. Obviously there's this whole there's a bit of a change in the fitness industry. It's maybe, I don't know if it's changed in the younger years, but certainly now for us as mums, we've trying to step away from the cardio thing. Why are you moving like that?
Oh, because oh, that's brilliant. I was. I love it.
Funny?
I was trying to. Brilliant. I haven't done a podcast with a proper friend for a while. I was trying to move, so I was sitting upright, so I wasn't slouching. Because all I look back on the video is I see this tuft of hair sticking out the side, and I'll just see that all I look like is a giant nose.
Okay, all right, okay. So you're trying to find your perfect angle, Rupert.
And then lock it, and then I was going to lock it.
Okay.
But we're glad we covered that.
Okay.
Right, good.
Yes.
So there is a lot of stuff about mums lifting weights more
Yes,
and about
yes.
less cardio.
Yes,
But
yeah, exactly.
however, for those of you at home and those of us talking, yeah, you can talk to them. They like it. So yeah,
Okay.
is that spin is just fun. Like you
Yeah,
should always
it's
just
so
have
much
fun
fun.
with cardio.
Yeah,
You know?
I actually also think that there's a place more. There's not a lot of people. There's a lot of people out there that actually don't like exercise. So if you can find something that you enjoy, whether it is spin,
Yeah.
then spin. You know,
Yeah.
that's fun. Put the lights on, put the music on, enjoy it. But a little bit of exercise is better than no exercise. And if that's your thing, that's your thing. But
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I mean, now we're getting right into it. So normally what we do on this is that we have a chat about you, chat about your past and stuff like that. And then also, if you were a fitness influencer or you wanted to share your fitness tips with people, but equally you can just be a busy mum or a dad sharing your fitness tips, where a lot of people do find it really hard to like get into fitness, be motivated. They may look at look at stuff that we do and think, oh, we're just those fitness people, we're crazy about fitness, but they don't realize how much we've built it into being our...
Absolutely, yeah. It's become part of our daily life, but we could very easily have those days we don't feel like exercising and we don't want to, but we've dragged ourselves down there, we've booked it in, and we know that at the end we'll feel better. For me, the days that I feel like that are the days that I definitely book into CrossFit, because I know I'm going to see my friends, and at the end of it I'm going to have fun, you know, and I will feel better, and I never regret a workout, even if I'm just there to move, you know, even if I'm just there. I'm not there to be the first one to finish their wall balls or, set some new record on a rower. I'm there to move just so that I know by the end of my session, I'm feeling better. And and I've had some fun and had a great time with some friends as well. And I think that's really important for people that don't like exercise, is to find friends that will take you on your journey with you, that will help motivate you. And yeah, I think that's one thing that people need to find out what's holding them back. Why don't you like exercise? How can you change your relationship with exercise? What is that one thing that might help you benefit getting into it? You know.
Well, like what though? Would it be would it be like a wedding? Or do you think that sometimes though if you were to try and get into exercise or get into it because you're either told to by a doctor or you've got a wedding coming up, or then you're doing it for the wrong reasons?
Yeah, absolutely. No, you want to be able to include it in your life for the long term, not for the short term. So if you've got a wedding, or if you've got if you've got a goal in mind and you can't see anything past that goal, that's not the right
Vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you get to that goal, you're gonna give up.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. You can yo-yo.
But I don't know if that's the right answer, because maybe sometimes somebody just needs a goal like that, and then they find their love for exercise, and then they think, okay, well, I've got to that goal. Let me find a new goal. And then maybe they find a new goal, like entering the High Rocks.
Yes, which we did.
Yes, we did.
Because if we rewind a little bit, I think wasn't Turf Games that we did earlier in the year. That was your first comp.
It was, yes. It was my first. So I've done Summer Social.
Yes.
And that's obviously a competition.
It's
a bit friendlier.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit more friendly.
It's a bit less like...
competitive.
Yeah, I think maybe it's...
Yeah.
I would say it's less formula. It's got less of a formula that's like as strict as perhaps something like Turf.
Yes.
I think it is definitely seen as like a proper competition. Whether it's full CrossFit or not is a whole different situation. Or then you build up something even like higher, because Turf is very busy. You can see how big it was.
And that is CrossFit.
That's CrossFit. But then High Rocks, even for me, High Rocks was like, holy smokes. That's why I even signed up with 2 weeks' notice, because I wanted to see what all the madness was about.
Yeah, it's grown, hasn't it? I think
it was like a concert. You get there and it's like a freaking festival/fitness concert.
Yeah, it was fabulous. I don't know what I was expecting. I think I was expecting that. I think because, so I had not done many competitions, but I have done races, lots of half marathons, and there's thousands of people. So I think I was expecting the same thousands, and there were.
Yeah. So then when you do a half marathon or a marathon or something though, what about the high rocks though that was a bit different? Because I've never done a marathon or half marathon.
Yeah.
But for me, the difference between doing a CrossFit competition and doing the high rocks was that with the high rocks, I felt like every minute I kept running and every minute I kept moving, I was still building towards that bigger goal, and that it was measurable in one sense. Whereas sometimes you go to a CrossFit comp, you throw yourself all in on a 15-minute workout, and then you find out that that you did nothing.
Yeah.
And I mean, still same with your time in the high rocks can be not nothing, but
yeah. So actually, high rocks is pretty similar to then a marathon and a half marathon, because you've achieved something at the end of it.
Yeah.
Not that you
Survival.
haven't with a fitness competition like a CrossFit or a turf. You still have achieved. For me, actually, the turf games, it was the first one that I'd entered at an RX level or an intermediate level, and so that for me was a huge achievement. I didn't know whether it was possible for me to even lift some of those weights, and so I was massively
you did amazingly
chuffed at myself.
Yeah.
So I was super proud actually of having taken part in that, and actually I did smash it. I think we did all right. I think the worm was horrific. That was absolutely horrific, but that was because there was so much change in that team, and we hadn't actually all worked or gelled together as a team.
I got crushed by the worm, which I thought was impressive.
Most of us did.
And I think generally it was a funny workout. It was a funny day.
Yeah.
I think I let you guys down more than anything, but you were amazing.
Ways.
You were like
nobody
such
let
good
anybody
energy.
down. We still finished it, and
Yeah.
we got through it. But that is the difference, I think. You've got these little workouts, and you throw yourself in for 15 minutes, and you might not make it onto a leaderboard. Whereas with a half marathon or a marathon or the high rocks, it isn't really nobody asks you, what was your time?
Yeah.
Nobody, it's like,
more like
you've done high rocks, well done. Yeah, clap.
I like that, clap. I like that, yeah. I wish they would do one in South Africa, but anyway, we'll see if they get, they have to get that far.
Yeah.
Probably hard to organise. But so back to we talked about competitions there briefly. Back to your sort of story about fitness though. It's like, so you were a PT and you were teaching spin, and then what sort of then spurred it on when you then obviously met hubby? Yeah. And then what sort of, did you ever have periods where you maybe had to put fitness back a bit, and then, how was all that journey?
So I think I actually stepped away from the fitness side of things slightly. I felt ill.
Oh no.
And I was in hospital for a long time.
Oh, I did not even know that.
Yeah, it was quite scary. I think I'd gone to South Africa for a friend's wedding, and I'd got really ill coming back, and I felt better from the illness, but then all of a sudden I had this awful pain, and I couldn't describe to you. I felt really stiff all the way down my back, and slowly, progressively, it had kind of come up behind my eyeballs, and it was really sore to even move my eyeballs. And before I knew it, I was almost paralyzed. Like I couldn't even lift my feet to get up or down a tiny stair.
Do you want to share? What was it?
So eventually I was at home for 2 weeks, in and out of the doctors, taking bloods. They didn't know what it was. And one evening I just said to Craig, I can barely breathe. I need to go to the hospital. And we phoned 999. I'd been living here. Is it 999?
Yeah.
I'd been living here for, I want to say, 11 months. So from South Africa, I was young. I was 22, and called 999, and they were asking me all these questions, and they said, and I just kept saying, I'm in so much pain, and I can't get rid of the pain. And they said, it's not the pain that's worrying us, it's the fact that we can hear you can't breathe. So they picked up just on the phone call and for me, I could feel that I wasn't breathing, but that wasn't as noticeable to me as much as the pain was. Anyway, the paramedics took me into the downstairs. We were on the 6th floor in a flat, and they took me down into tried to put me into the back of this ambulance, but they were like, can you step up? And I couldn't even get myself into this ambulance. So they had to like lift me, and then I was in so much pain with them lifting me. It was just horrific. Anyway, eventually get into this ambulance. They blue light me to Kingston Hospital, and I got into, and I would think I was there for 24 hours, possibly 48 hours. And in that time, I had this amazing South African doctor who came over to me, and she must have known that it was something to do with the neurological side of things, because she said the guy that's on the day, because they moved me to like a day bed.
Yeah.
The guy that's on the day bed, the surgeon that's going to come round, or consultant, I think they call them, that's going to come round, is actually he's a neurologist. So he came and he did some bloods, and he said to me, I've got a friend, and he's heads up the neurological side of things at St. George's.
Wow.
And he's going to be with us at the end of the day. And at this point, I'd moved then from the day unit up into this other ward, and I was exhausted because I kept being asked these same questions. And
have you eaten anything? Did you get bitten by a spider or
absolutely,
no? Yeah,
exactly.
like did you fall and you forgot and you fell over?
I remember this nurse coming over to me for the umpteenth time that day, asking me the same questions. I'm like, I've already answered this. Can you just not look at the old? And they're like, I'm really sorry, but we have to. And the next thing, it was like this shining light came into this room, and it was this guy that was heading up this ward, and he said it's one of two things that you've got. He said either you've got Lyme disease, you may have been while you were out in South Africa, you picked up a bug, but it could also be Guillain-Barré, which is very, very rare, and we're going to treat you for the worst, which is Guillain-Barré, and hope that that's what it is.
Wow.
And the next thing, I was blue lighted over to St. George's Hospital, given a lumbar puncture, and everyone was like, oh, the lumbar puncture must have been so sore. And I was like, it was actually more sore. This is how much pain I was in. It was more sore for me to hold myself up in a position where they could actually get the needle in my spine.
Wow.
That's how much pain my body was in. It was like fire all the way.
Whoa.
Anyway, so they did this, what do they call
something.
What was
lumbar
it?
puncture.
Lumbar puncture.
Yeah. That's a needle into your lung?
Into my spine.
Oh, okay.
Into the lumbar.
Yeah.
And then they draw all the liquid out
right.
of your...
To test it?
Yeah, exactly, to see what it... Anyway, they had... they basically said it was Guillain-Barré. So
well, hold on. So before you tell me what that is, because that was like an amazing story, and then my brain is just like, oh my God, I wish I hope we're recording. And I'm just like, please don't not be recording. So I'm like, that would be priceless. So what? Sorry, you're in lumbar puncture. You've had a lumbar puncture in the hospital after being blue lighted, which I love that.
Yeah.
Blue light.
Blue lighted.
So to St. George's, which is away from another hospital.
Yeah. So I was at Kingston Hospital. They blue lighted me to St. George's.
How do you say this thing? What are they looking for?
So Guillain-Barré.
Okay, and what is this? So
it's basically your own immune system starts attacking your nerves, all the peripheral of your periphery, so your arms, and slowly it starts to attack all your organs.
Lungs first, obviously.
Lungs,
that's why you can breathe.
Heart.
Wow.
And a lot of people end up in ICU. And I had a friend who was actually they put her in an induced coma. That's how bad it was. So it could get bad. Whereas, so they diagnosed me, I had my lumbar puncture and was put under 24-hour surveillance. When I went into the hospital, I had a breathing capacity of an asthmatic. So they made you blow into this thing, and like I had an asthmatic. And I was 22 years old, teaching legs, bums and tums, spin. I was fit, I was running, and I was friends with a lot of the PT, so I was lifting weights even back then when, it wasn't necessarily what everyone was doing.
We will talk about that.
Anyway.
Yeah, we will talk about the ladies' fitness journey.
I was fit. I was super fit. And anyway, after 24 hours, my husband walked into the hospital and my whole face had collapsed. And he thought I'd had a stroke. And they basically said, no, it's affecting the periphery.
Yeah.
I couldn't close my eyes. So at night, they were taping my eyes shut so that they weren't drying out. They were worried that I was going to choke because my swallow action was being affected. So then I had a feeding tube feeding me. And that was also horrific, was just trying to get that feeding tube down you. It was horrible. Anyway, got that down and I was being fed. And and so I was in the hospital. I think it was 3 months I was in hospital. And
What?
they were bringing in, the treatment was the stuff from America.
Wow.
They didn't do it here yet. And I feel like they do it here now.
Yeah.
But back then they didn't do it.
Yeah.
And it was really rare at that point it was 1 in 100,000 people that got this.
And it just happens how though?
They don't actually know the full reason or the real cause of it, but a lot of like professional sports people have had it.
Wow.
And they also think that there's a link to eating chicken. And so there's 2 ways that you can get this. It's always on the back of a bacterial infection.
Oh, okay.
And I'd eaten some chicken and got gastro, and so my immune system was fighting off the gastro bug and then just carried on fighting my body. It just mistook all my nerves all over my body as this bacterial infection. So I couldn't walk, I couldn't swallow.
It's like an episode of House or something. Do you ever watch House?
Yes, and actually it came up in House. This actual disease came up in House after I'd had it.
Yeah. So you were like watching it at home going, I've had that.
Yeah, everyone was like texting me saying, oh my God, it's what you had. But it was really frightening, and I didn't know whether I was going to see my 23rd birthday.
Yeah.
But by Christmas time I was out, and by January I was back in work.
Yeah.
Within 6 months I was fully recovered.
Wow.
And I purely put that down to the fact that I was fit.
It's fine. It's a good feeling.
I was fit,
You were fit.
I was fit, and I think because young, and I think that saved me.
Wow.
A worse journey than what I had, but it was a long term. I was so thin as well. When I came back, I was like a beanpole.
Right.
Because I hadn't been eating normal food. And I remember coming out of hospital, and my mom had come out from South Africa. She moved in to look after me when I came home, and I had to have like an occupational therapist come see if I could get myself in and out of the bath again before I could even go home. And I said to my mum, we were living in Putney, and I said I'd really like to walk down to the high street. I was getting into the Christmas vibe, and I wanted to go and just shop again, and it was second nature to me at that point, after living there for 11 months, to be able to walk down to the high street for 10 minutes, grab a sandwich and come back up. It was so exhausting just for me to get halfway. And I said to Mum, I need to sit down on a bench. I just remember having nothing left in me. Even though I felt right, as soon as I started walking, I had to take a stop and a breather before I'd even got down to the high street. So it did wipe it out of me. But I had my 23rd birthday and I partied. I partied so much with all my friends, because all my Fitness First friends were there at my 23rd birthday. And I partied the night where I even took my toenails off from dancing so much.
Yeah.
I was like, I made my 23rd birthday. Dance. Still epic. I still have, my friends are living in Australia now. They're like, do you remember your 23rd birthday? It was like...
Because you must have had such the amazing love for life again, the jus de vivre or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You just wanted to tear the roof off because you were so happy to have, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. And it did make you change things. And I think that's the reason why we started with this, I thought, okay, I love my fitness industry and it's been really important to me, but I don't know if I want to be a general manager of a club, because there's a lot that goes into that. That's not what I went into fitness for. I went into to coach people to be healthy and amazing. I went into the fitness industry.
Save people's lives, we say.
Just to influence them into the right health benefits. And I felt like possibly the general management role was more a business side of things, which I wasn't keen on. So I then took a step away from the fitness industry maybe, well, until after my daughter. So I went into the whole psychology side of things. I went and worked for Royal Mail, and I did all the talent management.
Wow.
And that was fantastic. Absolutely loved it. What a great place to work.
Yeah.
And then had my babies. And after I had the babies, my friend actually came to me and said, Aimee, you've been talking about getting into fitness for so long. And I was like, yes, I really should. She said, I have 8 ladies. We're all free on a Monday night. You hire somewhere and we'll be there.
Oh,
and
wow.
it fell onto my lap.
Oh, amazing.
And from there, it's just been a journey that I've just continued. And it's had its ebbs and flow. You know, it's dipped and it's come back up and it's dipped. Life gets in the way. We renovated our home, and that year, I had my regulars that kept coming, but I didn't go out and find any new business, you know.
Sure.
So that year was concentrated on the house and stuff. But
But I mean,
still kept my finger in the pie.
Yeah. And if anyone did want to see you and follow you, obviously I will like tag you in the post, and we will make clips of this. But like your posts are more like, they're not really within that whole like slamming fitness into your life. You know, you're just a busy mum posting good workouts.
Yeah.
I mean, even like known you. I mean, I never knew any of that story, which is why I love doing podcasts like this, even with people that I've trained with, because we will talk about this as well. We met at CrossFit, where I normally meet a lot of my fitness buddies. But even so, there's a couple of bits we want to talk about. We want to talk about women, ladies lifting weights, you know, and that whole bit of like what is meant to be ladies' fitness.
Yes.
But then also how you're helping people is amazing.
Yeah.
But even yourself, like you're still pushing now let's do the pushing bit first. So since babies to picking up the 8 mums on a Monday night and training them, how did you still be a busy mum and still do some fitness at the same time?
It was hard. It was really hard because my husband had also just been made partner, and so he was pulling all hours, and all I required from him was just to be home at, I think we did it at 8 to 9 on 1 day a week. That's how I started. One day a week doing an hour session, and it was difficult. It was really difficult because, you know, we were high-fiving each other through the door, and I'd not seen him all day, and then I was out for an hour. I'd get home at 9 o'clock and, you know, go to bed. I was exhausted, and he was exhausted. So it was difficult, but I pushed through, and slowly the business has evolved. So I was very much a new mum with 2 children, and I realised there was a potential to work out with these mums while the babies were sleeping.
Clever.
So then I started lunchtime sessions, and I started going to people's houses.
So as much as you were training your clients, it was also a good chance for you to get some exercise in as well.
While they were sleeping as well.
Yeah.
So Georgia, I was lucky enough, at this point she was at nursery 3 days a week, but my boy was only 1, so he was with me.
Yeah.
But I worked out. I was waking up early on a Saturday morning and I trained for a half marathon. So actually I decided, right, I need to do something as well. Sign up for a half marathon, and so I had a goal, and that was my goal was to get to this half marathon, and so I knew I had to find time, and it was difficult. So I had to make sure Craig was home, and then I would go for a run while he was at home. Sometimes it was late at night. I remember being freezing and seeing this full moon, and just
you're just running in the dark with like a hat on and gloves,
and
holding
my
a torch.
I was just like, what am I doing? So it was difficult, but I knew that I had a goal, and my goal was to get to that half marathon, and so. What
made you though? Because like, you know, hubby's a partner, Craig's a partner of something. You know, you've got 2 young kids. Talk to like that mum in you then at that point, like why would a mum want to go run in the dark? She's got bottles to wash, or like, you know, or not even that, or just watch TV and have a glass of wine.
Yeah.
What makes you want to then go back out and start running?
Watching TV and having a glass of wine it's comfort at that point, but when it's gone, then it's not comfort. It's like gone. It's like, so it's short term. So go out for your run, you making yourself feel better, you're making yourself proud because you've got a goal to achieve and get to. And the glass of wine, and whilst it's comfort then, it's short-lived. Like the fitness, the exercise is a long-term thing, and it's something that you're going to grow and get better at and achieve. So for me, that's why I did it. I was like, what am I getting out of this? I'm getting, my body, my physique, my mental wellness as well is really growing from being able to do exercise. Whereas, and don't get me wrong, there were days where I just sat on a couch and had a glass of wine and watched the TV and had some chocolate. But that's allowed.
Put the chocolate in there.
That's allowed. That is absolutely allowed. But the other 80% of the time, I knew that I had a goal to achieve and I wanted to do well at it.
That's amazing. What sort of goals do you try and, I'm putting you on the spot here, so don't worry if you don't. What sort of goals do you try and help your clients get then, now? To put that line in the sand to work towards.
So I think that a lot of the ladies that come in to see me aren't used to lifting weights. And a lot of the people say to me, they'll go to fitness or classes, but they don't actually know how to lift a weight, or they don't know how it's gonna I think they're just worried about injuring themselves or looking a fool. So my goal, what goal do I put in front? I think my goal for them is to be able to lift a weight and feel confident that they can do that when I'm not there. So that's my goal for my clients.
Yeah.
So that I know that when I'm not around, they're not going to hurt themselves.
There's a lot of... So I coach busy dads and try and help busy dads. But really what I realise is, and I may cut this out, it's fine, but really I realise is that to get a busy dad to exercise, you need a busy mum that's going to drive him to exercise, no? Because I think women are a lot more sharper and responsive in realising that they need to start making a bit of a change.
Yeah,
no? Or what do you think? Or maybe I'm wrong. And don't worry about it recording.
I don't know. Look, Craig was definitely one of those people, those dads that didn't want to work out and hated exercise, and he just didn't understand why on a week, even on holiday, but he came from a family that also just wasn't they didn't really spend time exercising, it wasn't their thing. Whereas I watched my dad grow up doing ultra marathons.
Oh, wow.
Every weekend I was chucked into the back of a car and driven all over South Africa, Cape Town, literally endless hours in the car.
Because there's that big race across,
My dad did that 8 times.
Wow.
So I watched him do that 8 times. He's done loads of ultra marathons, and my mum did a few half marathons. So I've grown up with fitness around me, so it's definitely influenced me.
Okay.
And I was quite sporty as a child. I swam. I was quite a good swimmer as well.
Oh, okay.
So whereas Craig didn't have any of that. He was a really good footballer, and even now when he goes outside to play football with Harrison, he's still got those skills that he can just tap into. But I don't know, I think his career took off, and I think he just concentrated on that until March of this year.
Yeah.
I dragged him down to CrossFit.
You did.
And he absolutely loves it and has changed everything, and he makes the time.
Yeah.
He makes the time because that's what he was worried about, but he is able to find 3 hours out of the day to get down to CrossFit and do a workout. And it's really changed him. And actually all of our friends who were worried about him, because there was a point where he was so super stressed, and even on a weekend you could see it. I think you've been there before as well.
Yeah.
The beer drinking, the anxiety constantly, and he is. But he still drinks his beer, but he's much more conscious now. He wakes up on a Saturday morning and he's off to CrossFit. He'll maybe have 2 beers and then put it down. And everyone has noticed the change. Everyone has noticed. Amazing. Not just physically, but the way he's interacting and behaving. He's way more relaxed and comfortable. So it's been a huge benefit for him as well.
So really, we need to get the busy dads down and by the mums.
I think if people find excuses, they'll always find an excuse. If they stop finding excuses, they will love it. They will love it. They will. Exercise is a great benefit for everybody. There are some people that I have struggle to, like, they've come down to moms that have come down to the boot camp, and I think once you're there, you're going to love it. You know all the ladies there. They're a great group of mums from the school, couple you might not know, but they're all in the same time in their life that you are. So I pump the music and I get the vibe on, and they still don't come back.
That's an inspiring story.
And I'm like, why haven't I been able to tap into that person? What is it about that person that's holding them back?
Maybe they just would prefer walking or something. Or So, but leading back into that with the weightlifting for ladies and stuff, right? Bit of a like sort of, I can't remember his name. Was it Paxman? Anyway, he was that great interviewer. Not that I'm aspiring to do that.
Yes, yeah.
But like, let's talk a little bit about ladies that lift and the whole stigma and what you've thought. Because now you've obviously said you've been around this fitness industry, you know, for a while. You've seen the transitions between spin to Peloton, you know, Les Mills, you've got body pump to CrossFit. So like, what do you find some of the stigmas or they're attached to like ladies that lift or this kind of weights? What do you think?
There is definitely still a stigma, especially with my age group. I do think though, when you go to the turf games and you go to High Rocks, the youngsters are way more into it now. And that is, I think, great. Because I do remember being that age and sitting in a pub on a Sunday, whereas now there's all these youngsters that are, you know, taking part in these competitions. They're spending their weekend getting fit. So I think there is a movement with the younger generation.
Oh yeah, millennials don't drink. What's the one below millennials? I don't know. Gen Z,
X, I can't keep it.
They don't drink.
Yeah, they don't, and actually I think that's fabulous.
Yeah.
Like, it's great, have a drink, don't worry, but I think it's fabulous that that's the way the world's going.
Not like where we would like steal bottles of alcohol from our parents, or like, well, I would, and then have house parties. And I mean, sure, they still have house parties, but I don't think it's their main part. I think maybe go to the gym.
Their priority is definitely to get fit, and you know, I think that's really inspirational, and I'm hoping that my daughter is inspired that way, and that the trend keeps going that way.
Sure.
But my age group, there is definitely a stigma of being butch if you're going to lift weights.
Yes.
You know, and
the muscle. Have you heard muscle mummies though?
I'm a muscle mummy.
You are. Is that you? Are you proud of it?
I'm proud to be a muscle mummy. I'm super proud. Took me a long time to get here because I had noticed my body changing shape, and I thought, oh my god, I'm going to get that thick neck that I never wanted.
Or you know, is it the shoulder? It's shoulders.
Traps, isn't it? Your traps.
Oh, you don't like traps, right?
No, it's not that I don't. I like them now. I've grown to love the fact that, you know, you've got your muscles, and I've learned to be really proud of what I've achieved in the 2 years that I've been doing CrossFit. But there was definitely, and there still is, a stigma where you've just got to run all day long and be super skinny and, you know, not eat.
Ryvita crackers, and do you remember the old adverts?
Yeah.
Like, Ryvita, and it was only aimed at women, and it was like, you know.
I've never ever been one that's been able to diet though, or stay off of things. I remember once being at university hearing about this cabbage soup diet. And I thought, I'm going to make a massive bowl of cabbage soup, and I'm just going to be on this cabbage soup diet. And I think I lasted a day. I ate cabbage soup all day long, and then I got to the evening and I was starving. And I remember my boyfriend, I was living with a boyfriend at the guy at the time, and he came in and I said, I'm so starving, please can we go to McDonald's? And at McDonald's I thought, this is wrong. This is so wrong. I've starved myself all day that all I'm craving now is like dirty food. Actually, just eat what you want to eat, and feel good, you know. So that, I think, was my only time I've ever dieted, really.
Dieting's tough, but so we were talking about mums that lift and about, ladies that lift and getting the big arms and stuff like that, or whatever it was, and then dieting. But it's not about, I think generally when it comes to what I've noticed about dieting and losing a bit of weight myself is that sometimes we just eat too much when we're a stressed parent or when we're distressed. For me, especially, what led my bad diet and things like that was having this little baby in the house, you know, and everything becomes routine around the baby. And I don't know if it triggered something with my ADHD or with my life and stuff like that, that I wasn't sort of fully prepared to be a dad, in the sense of like understanding what it was meant to be every day. every day. Like, you know, I get the bit that I'm supposed to do the bottles and help and do what I can or go to work. But when I would get to work, I'd be so exhausted and brain dead that I would just be like, well, what can I control? And I don't know if it was this like really bad habits or whatever, but what I could control was eating. So I would just overeat.
Okay.
And I don't remember when we first met, but I was big. Like I got up to 115 kilos. I'm sitting at 88 now, but like it was just this belly. Yeah.
I remember I think the first time I met you was during the Open, and I had to score you.
Oh yeah.
I just remember just saying, this guy's going full welt here. He's like, wow.
Yeah, and he's gonna die. Watch this.
And you said to me, I'm sorry if I shout at you in the middle of my session. And I went, it's okay, it's fine. I'll just make sure I'm really keeping score here. Yeah. But yeah, that was, I don't, maybe you got bigger after that, because that was 2 years ago. Yeah. Maybe, did you get bigger?
No, I was much fatter before that. No, I came down and then I've come down a lot more.
Yeah, you've definitely trimmed up since then, definitely. Yeah. But I don't remember you being...
I was much... So when I first started New Wave, I was like very big. Because I was a PT before, but then I'd left PT and gone into sales. And I just knew, as soon as I went to my first CrossFit class, which my friend took me down there, and went to New Wave, I just knew, like you were saying, it's like a challenge I had to sign up for. Yeah. And no matter how much it was going to cost, I was going to find the money each month, and I was going to find... I lived in Wimbledon at the time, so I used to have to drive 30 minutes to get there if I hit traffic to come and train at New Wave. But I just knew that like, it was something I had to commit to. Yeah. And I was always dying in the first workouts. Like I would always just be like, I'd push myself so hard and I'd be on the floor like a dead puddle. I still am.
That's what it was like, definitely. I remember at the end of the Open, I was like, gosh, you've put all your energy and effort into this. And I felt like I hadn't really, because I think I'd gone before you. And I remember thinking, gosh, I should really work with that.
But then this year, you were doing toast bar, you remember? And you were like,
So yeah, I started this year in the Open. Yeah. It was only my second year doing the Open, and I started it as a scaled. I always underestimate myself, and I'm not the most confident. And I rocked up one day to carry on with the work. I think it was the second one, as at scaled, and everyone was like, Aimee, you can totally do this RX. No, I can't. There, you can. And they all convinced me to move up to the RX version. And I surprised myself. I could not believe it, but yeah, I did amazing.
Yeah, it is. It
did amazing. I actually did it. Yeah.
The power of the Open is that you always get that one movement you've never done before.
Yeah.
You'll get your first pull up.
It was the pull-ups.
Yeah, you get your first meter walk on a handstand maybe, or you'll get your first toes to bar because you just really want to do it in that moment.
Yeah. It was awesome actually, and I'm super what's the word I'm looking for? Fortunate. So I'm super fortunate to have such a group of wonderful people that push me and know that I'm quite capable. Because the turf, I don't know if you know this, but I saw your shout out on the team chat, and I thought, oh gosh, I wonder, I always like to help people, and it is my year of yes, like
Year of yes,
because I've turned 40 this year, and I went into this year saying I can't say no to things. Like if it's going to grow me as an individual, I have to say yes. And I came out and I went to Fraser and I said, do you think that, don't say anything to them because I don't know if I'm going to be the right fit for them, but do you think that it would be possible for me to do this? And he was like, yeah, definitely. I won't say anything, but I'll get my feelers out and get back to me and see if you have a think about it and get back to me. And I did. I went back and I said, I said, okay, let them know. I'll do it for them if they want me.
Yeah, it made my day. You were so full of good energy, and you were so it was good. Amazing. And now you're gonna you're doing winter turf now.
No.
Feb.
No.
Well, someone will drop out and you'll drop in. Yeah.
Most likely.
That's indoors, like High Rocks. It's indoors.
Yeah.
I think it was in Peterborough, not far.
Farnborough
Airport. Yeah, Farnborough. Yeah. And it was indoors, but it was pretty awesome as well.
Yeah. No, I haven't signed up to do that, no.
But then so we were talking briefly about diet, but like, what do you think then about dieting? So you say you don't really diet, but yet how do you... Sorry, so I was saying about dieting was about the fact that sometimes we just eat too much, and sometimes we eat too much at the wrong times for stress or for life. So really it's about trying to find that balance of when you like can sit within a moment of, say for example, life being overwhelming, job being really busy, you know, or going for a promotion or having a new baby in the house. Like if you go with the easy, lazy, negative thoughts of like, well, there's no point in me going to the gym, there's no point in me trying to diet, I'm going to order a pizza and then have some beers, you know. But if you try and remain within yourself in that moment as well, go, right, this is stressful, you know, but I'm like going to get a promotion, or I'm going to try and push myself to a marathon or something.
Yeah.
But like, how do you sort of, you know, it's just changing those relationships with food, changing those relationships with exercise.
Yeah. Also, at the moment, I've been quite stressed. I've had anxiety and balls of knots in my stomach for months now, trying to get my son through the 11 plus. And it's actually my exercise and being around my friends that has made me feel so much better, taken my mind off of, because it's something that I can't control. You spoke about control, and it's something I can't control. I can tutor him and I can be a great mom and champion him, but I'm not going to be there with him in that exam, and I can't write that exam for him. And so the lack of control really made me feel super anxious. And so my way of not sitting at home and eating and feeling distressed about it was being around like-minded individuals and going to exercise and having some fun. But equally, I did meet my friend Tanya, who is also a CrossFitter, and we went for lunch and we had a cheeky glass of fizz. Yeah. And actually that really helped as well, the laugh, the giggle, just being with some friends and family. So like I don't, it's not that I don't diet. I mean, I still watch, I count my macros and I watch what I eat consistently.
Oh, do you?
Yes. I don't think I've ever been in a diet phase where I've cut stuff out. I just consistently eat really well.
Okay.
And then there might be moments where I'm on holiday where I'll completely relax for those 2 weeks, and then I'll just go back to being consistent again. Yeah. But I don't,
So do you weigh your body weight? Do you weigh yourself? No?
I'm not really good at weighing myself, no. What I do is I take photographs and I can see the change in the photographs, and I do some measurements as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so
and
I
do you
use
help your clients do that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, gym clothes have changed a lot as well.
Yeah.
No, ladies' gym clothes especially.
Yeah.
Like, you do, you rock some pretty awesome outfits sometimes. And you do see that, like, your body, like, you did go through a bit of a change. I can't remember. You like, and so you're saying that was just about not cutting stuff out, but that was just about staying consistent.
Yeah, it was about just consistently moving in the same way and eating the same...
Proper whole foods.
Yeah, whole foods. The foods that are good for you, that... all the people are telling you, lack of processed stuff and mainly eating at home. But we, as a family, we love Nando's. Yeah. Oh my word, at least once a week we have Nando's.
Yeah.
This is not a Nando's ad.
That's what you're sharing with.
This is not a Nando's ad. But on a Sunday, you'll find me and my family down at Nando's.
Is that what you do on a Sunday? That's such a clever idea, because it takes the stress out of a Sunday.
Cooking, yeah,
and the cleaning, and then having a messy house on a Monday.
Exactly.
Oh, yes. I love that idea.
It's a Nando's thing, but I do love a Sunday lunch.
Yeah.
So occasionally I'll say to Craig, I'm in the mood to cook today, so I'll make a Sunday lunch. But generally, 98% of the times we are down at Nando's.
Sundays. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Well, that's a good tip.
But yeah, so that I think I just keep trimmed by just moving all the time. Also, the big difference that makes. So what I noticed as well was just the movement in my day. So even if I wasn't working, it's walking the dogs. It's just getting the kids to school and back. When we cut all of that out during the COVID times, I was still running, and I was running. I was running away from all my stresses. Literally, in the January of that lockdown, I did 278 kilometers in January. It was
an ultra,
stupid amount of kilometers. Wow. And I still was bigger than what I am now. measurement-wise and clothes-wise, because after my run in the day, I'd sit trying to teach my kids things. And there wasn't that constant movement around doing things, you know, shopping and walking the dogs, and it wasn't like you.
Yeah, but someone might hear that. Someone might hear that though at home and say, "Well, then, yeah, but I can't do that with my work."
Yeah.
But then they don't. But then you find out when you dig into the story that like they don't. They get off the tube and then they get a bus.
Yeah,
but they could walk that 15 minutes, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Or they drive to the station and pay £9 to park or something.
And they could use the stairs and not the lift.
Yeah,
and
true.
So there are ways in your daily life that you could make changes, you know, and go out for your lunch. Just go and get your lunch. Don't have it delivered. You know, a lot of people might have it delivered and just go down to the foyer and grab it, or get their PA to grab it for them. You go out and get it. Get some fresh air. Get a walk on. You can still get your steps during the day.
Shopping's a really good way to get steps as well.
Shopping.
I find shopping also just I like food shopping sometimes, even if I don't have any food to go and get.
Yeah.
It calms, but that's just for my ADHD. It calms me down.
Yeah.
Like, I find just somehow I just walk up and down and I'm calmer.
Yeah, I love a food shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you buy these random things as well.
It's like, oh, what's that?
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to make Moroccan spiced lamb.
And then it's the ingredients sit there for ages.
Yeah. And you forget to buy lamb. You get home and you've got this tagine and these apricots and molasses, and then you're like, I forgot lamb.
Oh no! That's obviously happened.
Yeah, well, it does to me a lot. And I also, I buy things and then I'll store them for the day that I'm going to do them, you know, like, or like for camera equipment, like I'll buy this new thing for my camera and then it will sit in the boxes on the table for 4 days because I can't open them. Because I've got this kind of like ADHD brain lock that I can't open them because one, I'll probably open them and then put them somewhere stupid. That's the classic thing I do. Yeah. Or I'm just not ready to process all of that.
Okay,
so it's kind
you have to get into the mood to actually read.
Yeah, or like sit and do it properly.
Yeah.
But then one day I'll like open it last minute and be like, okay, we're going to try this new microphone today. And I'll be like, that's a really bad idea. There's no preparation involved. But no, okay, well, look, we're going off on fun mental health topics there. But I think, so generally, if you were talking to your you know, anyone who might want to be your client or anyone, you know, who sort of might be stuck on the sofa or desperately trying to make 2024 their year.
Change,
Yeah? So a couple of your top tips would be?
Find a goal. So see if there's something that you can sign up to, whether it's a half marathon or a marathon or a new boot camp. Like, I started at CrossFit and I couldn't finish the WOD my first however many months. So I made it my goal to get to a point where I'm going to be able to smash these WODs. You know, where I said, you've got 12 minutes to finish this. I didn't get anywhere near finishing it when I started. So my goal was to finish that. So find a goal that's going to keep you going. Find a friend. Get some friends to go along on the journey with you, because they'll keep you in check. And 3, find something that you love. Like, it's got to be something, don't go, I mean, there's going to be days where you're going to feel like you don't want to do it, but you find something that will be fun on those days, whether it is your spin or whether it's just a dance class as well, or something just to keep you moving. So those are my 3 top tips: a goal, a friend, and something fun.
Amazing. Well, there you go. And so people will check you out. I'll drop the link in, but it's what?
I'm not very good with Instagram
or
influencing. I'm really bad.
Yeah, I'll drop the link. Yeah.
I'm very not much.
And you're also quite a niche group anyway. You've got quite your niche, because you're doing it in person as well.
Yes, I've got a studio at home. I'm not online. I'm not very good with being online. But I love being with people.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I love being with people, and the reason why I got into sports and psychology is to connect with people and influence them. And I find that it's easier. My personality is they'd rather want to be with me in person than on a screen. No, and I benefit, and everyone else benefits more being in my studio with me. And I mean, I love it
when I turn up to CrossFit and you're like, hey Rupes or Ru, or you just like, you know, and you're so you also have a great sense and ability to like read people's auras and emotions. You know, nobody says auras anymore, but you know what I mean? Like, you're really good at reading a room, and you know how to like perk people up and like get people involved. And you are like, you know, just that super, you know, champion of people. You know, you always get people moving, you're like, go on, give it another try.
Such a lovely thing. That's like really lovely to hear. Thank you.
So I would definitely train with you in person.
Yes.
Well, yeah. Anyway, we will, we'll finish it there. But all of you, do try something different this week. Make 2024 your year. And if it's already in 2024, because I'm slow at getting this done, then I hope that you're having a great year. And just keep trying something different, and don't see stopping or not starting as like, you know, something. Just try and get out there. No?
Yeah, just get out there, get moving, find something that you enjoy.
Cool. All right. See you later.